What's up guys, it's TyranitarTube and I thought I'd make a video about expectations for BDSP. E3 has started. It is going on right now. If you're out of the loop because it's all digital, here it is. So we're currently here at Saturday 11 a.m. Going down, we got Xbox and Square Enix on Sunday, but down in Tuesday is where the Nintendo Direct is. There is a Nintendo Direct at 11 a.m. That's what that is. There's no Pokemon Presents announced. It's a bit confusing what Pokemon is doing, but if you're wondering, Pokemon is always showing up at E3. Let me show you. So in 2013, they revealed X and Y's fairy type at E3. That was the big reveal of what Sylveon's type was, question mark. What was Xerneas's type, question mark. Fairy was the new type. In 2014, we finally got the first gameplay of Auras. This was the month of the Megas being shown for the 3 starters. In 2016, Pokemon came with the Sun and Moon trailer. 2019, I was there at E3. They showed off the graphics of Sword and Shield and Nessa's gym. So while there have been small cases like just Mystery Dungeon in 2015, it's how far your mind goes. There has to be information revealed at E3 here. It just, I mean, unless Pokemon just wants to release the games, never putting out a trailer at all. E3 is like, everyone knows you make news on E3. Now, Pokemon almost always has their own section. They don't follow Nintendo's schedule, though last time in 2019, they hung out at Nintendo Treehouse for a bit during E3. Usually, Pokemon has just their own thing going, but nothing like that has been announced yet. So the best thing we have to go on is that they're gonna do what they did in 2019. It's still super weird that they still haven't said anything for Pokemon news. I have a lot of expectations for E3, you know, Mario Kart 9, a new Mario game, we have Breath of the Wild 2, but of course, Pokemon Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So I thought I'd make a video on fair expectations for BDSP at E3. You know, just what your mindset should be going into this. I already made a video about like hard expectations for Pokemon Legends, and really, we're not going to talk about that in this video because it's just open game. So before we move on, fair play to Masuda. You know, however these remakes turn out, there's a lot of credit to give to Masuda for what Pokemon's success is right now. I mean, you can't complain at the core when Pokemon is only getting more and more powerful and successful. We can all complain about how they're not doing what we want, but it's not stopping their success. It's not like their sales are going down because they're not listening to us. And so maybe it's right Masuda isn't listening to us, you know? I've complained enough about BDSP, but honestly, it's all just fun and games. I love Pokemon so much that I love to yell at him. But at the end of the day, man, fair play to you. Whatever you decide to do with BDSP, whether they're just faithful remasters, just a literal remake that has nothing new to bring to the table, maybe you want to switch to Legends being a more important title than the main series, so that now the main series titles starting from BDSP are just going to be simple. And Gen 9 will just be simple with DLC. So let's just start off with that. I know some of you guys are like, wait, what's happening to T-Tar? We came here to see him roast Masuda. Listen, let's see what he does. I have a lot to say about expectations, such as the fact that waiting this long and it all leading up to E3 puts a lot of pressure on what they're going to show in E3. But let's just see what happens. Let's keep it positive for Masuda. He might be in the live stream if there is Pokemon stuff. He shows up at every E3. I saw him at the last one. One reason I want to make this video is to kind of set your expectations back to ground zero and just be open to what's going to happen. We all know what we want. You know, Megas, Promos, all this stuff. We've had a lot of fun discussing and speculating up to this point, but now the most fun we can have with this hype season and with these games and the series is if we just empty our mind and go with the flow and see what happens. Kind of feels like Pokemon is entering a different kind of era, so the hardest part of transitioning to that era is this current moment right here. So there you go. That's what you get from me, Masuda. Some positivity, some super positivity. The people who've been on this channel for a very long time know I'm the first one who has Masuda's back. I just love to yell at him because I love the series so much. But I have Masuda's back. I like to spread positivity here, and I know I've spent a lot of time yelling at Masuda, and because I've done it so much, I want to make sure I remind you guys of the point of why I yell at him. It's because I love this series, and I love what he does. You all know that. But if you forgot that along the way, remind yourself, we love this man first. There hasn't been a single bad Pokemon game, just a game you wished had more. You forget a lot about the graphics of Sun and Moon. It's a huge improvement, but you forget because it's been so long and you're used to them. The graphics of Sword and Shield, you know, Game Freak isn't the best studio at making overworlds, but it is an insane upgrade. If you walk around in the Crown Tundra, the Glenwood Tangle and all that, they're great games. It's so easy to discredit because you're used to the games. Black and White, probably the most flawless game. X and Y, a really nice overworld. He's even managed to make Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which are games we know everything about and are like the 4th remake of Kanto. really nice games. Smooth overworld, graphics, riding your Pokemon. He got the better of us. Complain as much as you want. He knows what he's doing. I'm sorry if you enjoy me yelling at him. We'll do that next time. For now, I want to go into this E3 with positivity for him. He deserves it. Okay, now on that topic, right? So I don't know if I should say this next part of the video because I just grounded your expectations. But okay, I'll try to do this in like a minute. Again, ground your expectations. I just want to talk about something. So I've been thinking a lot about one thing that Pokemon focuses a lot on is the competitive game. And right now we're in a position where we have these remakes that we're not sure where they belong. But the competitive game right now is Dynamaxes. So what's going to happen? BDSP going to have Dynamaxes? It's not like they're going to bring Megas and now Dynamaxes and Megas clash. It's not like BDSP is going to be incompatible with Sword and Shield. Like, how is the metagame going to work? That's a big focus for when they make these Z moves and Dynamax and Megas, the metagame. They put a lot of thought into the abilities and everything they introduce, whether you believe it or not. And so I kind of came to this idea. There's two paths. One is the reinventing Pokemon path where BDSP will be simplified. The other side that came to my head is the idea that Dynamax might exist in Sinnoh. So it came from me trying to troll. I want to troll people and write a fake leak on 4chan and just see if it got popular, knowing that I'm the one who freaking wrote it. But it's too long. I kind of wrote it lazily, like how a fake leak would be. The kind of idea I had is maybe Sinnoh, the lore of Sinnoh could be that there's just a red mist around the region, kind of like an alternate world, like Auras being a Mega Evolution universe. Maybe they're messing with Dynamaxes here. But the reason that doesn't make sense is because Dynamaxes kind of go with the way Sword and Shield looks, all brought to life in 3D. Doesn't really flow with BDSP. Even if the battles look normal, there's not going to be power spots. So the idea I kind of got was maybe they just simplify Dynamaxes, and in some weird way they can have the power spot energy in some ring. You know, Galar would be very traditional to what red spots can do. Sinnoh could be a region the red spot energy was brought to, kind of like the Megastones being brought to Hoenn. And here they've improved it and you can Dynamax anywhere. Or maybe you can Dynamax in just more locations, because it would be overpowered if you could Dynamax against just random youngsters, right? That makes the game really easy. But something, you know, because there can't be stadiums and power spots. You can imagine power spots. We don't know the direction of this game, whether it's gonna introduce new elements into the overworld. I wrote it lazily to just mess with people, you know, like Cynthia Chibi Long Care. People would read that and be like, it's just a thought I had, you know, Dynamax just to add some kind of flair to the region. It doesn't make sense to cross gimmicks for this Gen 8 platform to have Dynamax in Sword and Shield and then Megas in Sinnoh. I think at this current moment, I can confirm myself. It's not confirmed, but I can say now, you know, for me it was a 1 in 200 chance, but I can say now it's an impossible chance in my opinion for Megas to return. I think it just doesn't make sense, and that they probably would have shown it by now. But if anything, they could carry on the G-Max mechanic to these games, and that way it's at least organized from gen to gen. And then we can talk about Megas in like Gen 9 territory with the Unova remix. For this, I'm sure Megas are impossible. I'll give away 3 copies of BDSP if there are Megas in this game. There won't be. It's a bit confusing, the timeline right now for Pokemon, because it almost feels like there has to be DLC for BDSP for 2022, or else 2022 gets kind of confusing because Pokemon Legends comes out early in 2022. Either Legends acts like a very huge game that will represent all of 2020, or alongside Legends is released, they announce these DLCs for Sinnoh remakes, and that will represent Sinnoh for 2022. DLCs could be anything, you know, Shaman, Darkrai, Arceus stuff, but that's just to give you a bit of interest. I want to tell you to be as fair as possible and just go with the flow and see what BDSP will bring. Because in the beginning, it was fun to joke about the Megas and, you know, how funny the graphics look. And I've said a lot about how I like the chibis. I just hope the game is done well so that you can appreciate them. When you're playing the game, you're not going to mind the chibis. Of course, we missed out on actual full Sinnoh graphics, but just to be as fair as possible, the chibis would be fine to play in, so long as they're refined a bit. I just want to say in one video, in the midst of all these jokes we make, that I have trust in him, and I just want to go with the flow and see what he'll do. But if there's any kind of distant hope that you want, probably shouldn't be Megas I don't think that's a fair expectation anymore. At this point, if you want something to exceed your expectations, it would be if someone brought the red mist energy to Sinnoh. And so Dynamaxes now coexist alongside Gen 8 Galar and Gen 8 Sinnoh. Could mean more things, like Cyrus has a G-Max and Cynthia has a G-Max Garchomp, and it changes the game a bit. Maybe the G-Maxes for certain Pokemon are blue and there's some lore they can have fun telling. But yeah, like I said in the beginning of this video, I want this to be a positive thing. I don't want you all to go into this BDSP and E3 reveal with kind of this negative energy on your back. Just go in with a smile and see what will happen. See, the trolling we do on this channel is out of positivity for the series, what Pokemon is. But that kind of stays within our little T-Tar community. Once you get to what people tweet to each other outside of this community, they kind of taint their overall just fun we're having. So I want to make sure we reinstate that positivity going into E3 so we can at least have fun. Just go in with a smile. Who cares how these turn out? They're going to turn out fine. Let's just go in and freaking hang out. You know, I got an E3 pass. I'll be streaming it on YouTube. You know, even if they do something really funny, like if there's a weird graphic that show up in the trailer, I'd rather see just a bunch of hilarious faces spammed in the chat rather than seeing like actual angry people. Like, just take whatever happens with a smile. Be zen before you get negative about anything, or forget that we troll here out of positivity. We don't freaking hate Monster or Game Freak or anything. The reason we say all we do is because we love them. Shank that like button. Let's see what happens at E3. See you on the next video. Take care.
This the sound of my alchemy, the greatest success for all those who fell for me. I always respect the friends who wish well for me and live until the end and die. All time will tell for me, but I ain't going anywhere, believe me.